UK Parliament approves controversial three-parent mitochondrial gene therapy. New techniques essentially involve removing the nucleus DNA from a healthy female donor's eggs and replacing it with the nucleus DNA of the prospective mother, either before or after fertilization. After fertilization, the resulting child will inherit the mother's nucleus DNA, which contains most inherited traits like eye color and height, but the donor's healthy mitochondrial DNA.
Is trying to help families and women in particular have healthy children. I think we do there are a lot of different reproductive options available for women that carry genetic diseases, and this is another option for women that carry mitochondrial DNA disease.
It is not intended to debate whether the techniques should be allowed. Instead, it wants to get more views about how they should be used. Critics claim move approval could be first step towards designer babies. Law forbids of turning human eggs or embryos before they are put into women. The United Kingdom's House of Commons voted overwhelmingly to allow British researchers to pursue a new fertility treatment that could prevent certain kinds of genetic disease. However, to respond to different criticism and argument from different sectors, the Department of Health has launched a public consultation on the plans.
Well, I don't consider this three parents, and I want everyone out there to know that, because that's clear. If it was three parents, I would be against it. I think it's really two parents because, Bill, they're using the nucleus, which is where, that's the brain of the cell. Let's talk about that as the brain. The brain is staying intact. So if I transplanted Bill Hemmer's brain into someone else, it would still be Bill Hemmer. So I don't think it's three parents, I think it's two. But what they are doing here is they're basically replacing the heart. The mitochondria is like the workstation of the cell. It makes the energy. It's a motor. The motor's faulty. They're replacing the motor with a new motor that they're getting from someone else. But the motor, or the heart, you know, when Dick Cheney got a heart transplant, it's still Dick Cheney. Okay? That's my point. I say two parents in this case, but we're repairing faulty machinery in the cell. Now, where it gets dicey ethically is if you make that repair, it's going to work for succeeding generations. That's a new thing. It's never been done before. So in other words, if I fix that cell, the children of that person are not going to have the problem. That's never been done. I am way against designer babies. I don't want to alter DNA so that eye color changes or hair color changes so everybody ends up looking like you. I'd rather a few people look like me.
Yeah.
According to BBC reported that 70 cabin crew are planning legal action against British Airlines, saying they have been poisoned by contaminated cabin air. They point that fumes in the flight deck caused flight crew illness. Cabin crew members were hospitalized due to stinging eyes, burning on the inside of the nose, and a strong metallic taste in the mouth.
I know that one of the pilots in the BBC report said he experienced fumes so strong that the crew couldn't even administer a mayday call because they were too, disoriented. Have you ever experienced anything like that?
I have, only on the ground, not to that extent and to that degree, Brooke. But let me give you a quick fun lesson on a jet engine so our viewers understand how it all works.
Okay.
Compare your house to a jet engine, okay? You get a main water line, main supply line that comes into the house and it goes to the kitchen, it goes to your toilets, it goes to various parts of the house. Same as a jet engine. Jet engine gets all that air. Most of it, the air is used for thrust for the airplane. Other parts of that is used for air conditioning, cooling and heating, and one of the main purposes is for pressurization. The air is compressed so that we breathe the same density as we would here sitting in CNN studios, for instance, up at high altitude. What happens is they draw that bleed air, is what we call it, from the jet engine into various parts of the airplane. And that comes directly from the intake. It's filtered air. However, just like in your house, if it is damaged or permeated somehow with some other source, you're going to get that bad water.
In fact, there are many different opinions from online users. Although there are many people concerned about situation with the statement of not boarding plane ever again, many of them still argues whether it is either true or not true. Some people also took British Airways' side by saying basically air pollution are everywhere. The only response from British Airways at this point has been a spokesperson saying it will respond to the coroner in due course, yet with no substantiated claims made so far up till June 8, 2015. British Airways maintains that no change in sickness rates which would indicate a link with cabin air issues, and said studies had shown no increase in overall cancer or mortality rates among crew. A Civil Aviation Authority spokesman said government-funded research had found that any link to ill health is unlikely.
If you look at the tobacco industry, the asbestos, contaminated blood issues, if you look at all that, governments say it's perfectly safe, and then wham, suddenly they have to admit we got it wrong for so many years. So that's going to happen again with aerotoxic, no doubt about it.